Hey, what's up guys? Today we are starting off from where we left off in episode 1, and we are about to enter the nether. Today's episode will end when we beat the dragon. Make sure to go back and watch episode 1 if you've not. Before entering the nether, make sure you have plenty of food, building blocks, crafts, weapons, armor, and tools that you need. Once you're ready, you can enter. Upon spawning in, you may be caught on fire like me, which is really annoying. Hopefully you spawn safely though. If you're really worried about this happening, you can put all your items in a chest so if you die you won't lose them. When you spawn into the nether, the first thing you want to do is write down the coordinates of your home portal. You will need these to get back to it later if you forget. Upon spawning in the nether, we're looking for two different structures. These are going to be a bastion or a fortress. Bastions are a little bit more dangerous and not as important. Fortresses, on the other hand, are very important. They contain blazes, which drop blaze rods, which will be necessary for our progression. Also, if you find a blue biome known as a warped forest, it'll spawn lots of endermen. And at this point, you want to be killing as many endermen as possible. Once again, to kill an enderman, mine a 2x1 tunnel, look it in the eyes, and go into the tunnel. You can then hit it without being hit yourself. And there we go, got an ender pearl. We will need between 12 and 14 ender pearls. I'm always safe and grab about 16. Now your job is to explore the nether until you find one of these 3 objectives. It can help to use this quadrant system. In each of these 4 quadrants, only one of the 2 structures can spawn, a bastion or a fortress. So if you find one, you know that you won't find the other in the same quadrant. In the nether, you're going to find magma cubes, which will drop magma cream. They're pretty annoying, but they're not that big of a threat. You'll also find ghasts, which is why we have the bow. They have very little health and can usually be taken out in one shot. Gas will drop gunpowder and gas tears. Keep a hold of the gunpowder for later. We don't need the gas tears. Similarly, magma cream isn't necessary, but you can hold on to it if you like. Here I'm going to explain some common misconceptions about render distance. So render distance is how far you can see. A Minecraft world is divided into chunks, which are 16 by 16 blocks. Every time you increase your render distance by 1, you can see 1 chunk further, or 16 blocks. In the nether, there's a fog around you that prevents you from seeing any further than 6 chunks, or 96 blocks. The only way to remove this is by using texture packs that get rid of the fog. This can make it a lot easier to find structures. One block you may find is magma blocks. By crouching on it, you won't take damage, but if you uncrouch, you will. Another way to kill gas is by hitting a fireball back at them. After 800 blocks of searching, I was able to come across a warped forest biome. This is where endermen spawn the most common. It's also the best place to farm ender pearls. Whether you do this before or after finding a bastion, you will need to collect 16 ender pearls to be safe. Ender pearls can be thrown to teleport, but we don't want to do that because we'll need them for later. Oh, there it is. Nether fortress. When in a nether fortress, you're going to encounter wither skeletons. By placing blocks at head level, they won't be able to hit you, and you can hit them. Another mob you'll see are zombie pigmen. If you hit them, every single one in the area will attack you, but otherwise they're passive. Fortresses contain chests, which will have decent loot in them. Ultimately, the mob we're looking for is a blaze. Blazes shoot fireballs and drop blaze rods, the item we're looking for. Continue exploring the fortress and killing blazes until you come across this room. There will be a single block of lava in the middle, and one side will lead to hallways, and the other side will lead to an open area. Exploring the open side of the fortress will eventually lead to this structure, which is a blaze spawner. Mob spawners spawn mobs in a 9x9x9 cube when the player is within 16 blocks of them. The spawner will attempt to spawn 4 mobs around it, but if blocks are blocking them, less than 4 can spawn. It'll spawn a new wave of mobs every 10 to 40 seconds. Breaking the spawner will drop a small bit of XP, and they cannot be obtained in survival. Stand at a safe distance and continue killing the blazes until you get at least 8 rods. Your shield can come very handy in this situation. Once you've gathered the necessary ender pearls and blaze rods, it's time to return to the overworld. Pull up the coordinates of your home portal and head towards them. Before leaving your fortress, you may want to write down the coordinates of it, as you may want to come back to it later. Also, if you find nether wart, you may want to grab that before leaving. Nether wart is used to brew potions and may be useful. While exploring the nether, you may acquire ancient debris. Ancient debris must be mined with a diamond pickaxe and is a material higher level than diamond itself. If you find any, pick it up, but we don't need it for now. If you find any bastions such as I have, write down the coordinates, but don't go into them as they are very dangerous even with maxed out gear. They contain loot that we will need for later though. It appears as though I've found another bastion, so once again I'm going to write down the coordinates of it as this one is a lot closer to my home portal. There it is. Got back safe and sound. Not quite. Congratulations, you survived the nether. This is the most difficult part of beating the game, and from here on it'll be quite easy. Also, from this point forth, make sure to kill all creepers that you find. Gunpowder will be very necessary in the next steps. If you happen to gather any soul sand in the nether, you can plant nether wart that you found on it to grow it. Nether wart's used for brewing potions, which we won't be doing because it's not necessary. We'll also want to gather as much sugarcane as possible in the next few steps. Paper and gunpowder can be crafted together into firework rockets. We will want as many of these as possible before entering the end dimension. It is now time to find the end portal. Take your blaze rods, craft them into blaze powder, and combine it with your ender pearls to make Eyes of Ender. Throwing these will tell you where the end portal is. The end portal is that direction. Eyes have a 1 in 5 chance of breaking, so try and throw them as few times as possible to locate the portal. End portals on Bedrock Edition generally spawn around 2,000 blocks from 0, and if a village is nearby, they will spawn under it. Before leaving, make sure to write down the coordinates of your base, bring a bed, your Eyes of Ender, your tools, weapons, and armor, food, plenty of blocks, and whatever firework materials you have. There are 128 end portals in the world, and they generate in rings. The Eyes of Ender will lead you to just the nearest one to you. While following the eye, I found 2 different villages that are about 2,000 blocks away from spawn. It is likely that one of these has the end portal underneath it, and I will throw an eye at each of them to see if the portal's there. Villages are very useful as they have villagers, which can be used for trading. They will also always spawn an iron golem which drops between 3 and 5 iron ingots. There are different types of village houses, the best one being the blacksmith, as its chest contains items such as iron ingots and diamonds. Villages also usually have hay bales, which are a great source of food, and can be crafted into bread. They're also mined faster with a hoe. When you're around 2,000 blocks out, or you find a village, throw an eye. This one points that way towards the other village, so I'm going to go check out it. At the center of the village, you'll find the iron golem and a bell structure. The bell structure is where the end portal can be located under, and iron golems are useful to kill. Pillar up 3 blocks, and hit them. They won't be able to reach you. Once again, I'm throwing an eye here because it's at the bell. The eye went down, which means the stronghold is directly below me. If you have multiple beds, place one now and set your spawn point, just in case you die while mining. Also, if possible, gather 1 to 2 water buckets before mining. Using 2 water buckets, you can place them like this to make an infinite water source, which will be useful in the end dimension. After gathering all the necessary fireworks and water buckets, mine down. There we are. In strongholds, there are 2 useful room types, the library and the portal room. Explore until you find one of these. I've found a library. Libraries contain plenty of books. Make sure to grab a bunch of these so you can max out your enchant setup later. They'll also contain 2 chests, which have enchanted books in them. Grab these. Cobwebs can be mined faster with a sword. You can also break them using water. Each stronghold will contain 2 libraries. You'll also find chests in the hallways. These usually contain decent loot. The last room with a chest is this room. It contains a chest up here, and usually has bad loot. To best find the portal room, go to the end of hallways, and then block them off once you know the portal's not there. Sometimes rooms such as these have hidden doorways. They'll be either up there or down here. Ah, there we go, another hidden doorway. There it is, the portal room. Once you find it, break the silverfish spawner. You don't want to deal with those bugs. If you damage one, it'll cause the other ones hidden in the walls to come out and attack you. Upon finding this room, place down your bed and set your spawn point. You'll also want to put down a chest and place any valuable items that you don't want to lose. Also, if you can, leave some supplies in the chest for if you die. You'll also want to make an infinite water source at this time. Once you're ready, you can fill in the eyes on the portal. Make sure you have food, your bow, some arrows, armor, blocks, and water. Make sure to grab a pickaxe in case you spawn in a box like me, and jump in the portal. You will usually spawn in a box, but you may spawn far away from the end island. Just dig up or build to the island. The end island will have many pillars with end crystals on top. By shooting them, they will explode. You want to do this to every pillar as they regenerate the dragon. The dragon will shoot dragon's breath at you, which will be giant pink balls. They are very damaging, so stay away from their poison. Occasionally, the dragon will perch. Take advantage of this time to shoot down crystals. There will also be 2 cage crystals. You must build up to these to break them. Mine the cage and punch it with your fist. Water can be used to get down. Well, that's great. If you do happen to die, just locate your items and pick them back up. For the larger pillars, placing blocks between you and the end crystal will prevent it from doing more damage. Oh, that's not good. Once most or all of the pillars are broken, and hit it with your sword, it will no longer regenerate. If you have extra arrows, you can shoot it while it's in the air. Upon killing the dragon, it'll drop a bunch of XP and the dragon egg. Collecting the XP will get you around level 60, and the dragon egg can be punched and it will teleport. Then collect a torch, mine 2 blocks under the egg, place the torch, and drop the egg onto the torch. This will allow you to collect the dragon egg. Now we will jump into the portal. You've now beaten Minecraft, and here's the credit screen. This will be the end of episode 2, and in episode 3, I'll show you how to get elytras and maxed out gear. And in episode 3, I'll show you how to get elytras and maxed out gear. Thanks for watching. See you next time.